Hey everybody, I'm Dave Gerhardt, and I've been thinking about something that has completely changed the way that I tell stories, and this has helped me write copy, create landing pages, make decks, do videos. It's really helped me in every piece of almost everything I've done in marketing, but it's amazing you can apply this to sales, to being a product manager, to a designer, to anybody who creates anything can follow the rules that I'm about to show you. And this is something that I learned from Steve Jobs, not from him directly, which would have been amazing, but from a couple books. And really what Steve Jobs did is he was able to take some complex stuff and boil everything down into a very simple story, right? One of the best things you can do is go to YouTube and just plug in Steve Jobs Apple keynote. Watch the original iPhone keynote, 2007 I think it was. Watch the iPad keynote in 2010. These are amazing. It's very simple, and I want to take you through Steve Jobs' storytelling secrets right now in this video for Drift Insider. Okay, so there's really five, in any Steve Jobs presentation, there's really 5 key ingredients, and they go something like this. Number 1 is tell a story, and I'm gonna run through them all and we'll talk through each one of them, okay? So number 1, tell a story. Number 2, pose a problem. Number 3, state the solution. Number 4, show some proof, examples or facts. And then number 5, have a call to action. So these are the 5 steps that I literally write out every time I make a new presentation, I'm working on a new landing page, I'm writing a new blog post. If I'm ever stuck or I don't have good story structure, what I literally do is pull up a Google Doc, a Word doc, or even just write out on a piece of paper, and I write these 5 things down. This is my outline. Tell a story, pose a problem, state the solution, show some proof, and call to action. And then I start writing in on each of these sections what I'm gonna say. So let's talk about each one of these. Tell a story, right? Have you ever seen a speaker just get up on stage and just dive right into their thing, right? You immediately lose the audience. And so you have to be able to tell a story. We're all people, and people love stories. Think about how long storytelling has been a part of somebody's life. And so every presentation that I give, because of this, every presentation that Steve Jobs gives starts with some type of story. So think about how you can start with a story to hook the audience. And that is really only the goal. Is to get somebody hooked and to build some type of credibility and relationship with them and start a conversation. So number 1 is tell a story. And this could be I start off a presentation like, hey, on my way, last week I just was leaving the gym and this thing happened. Or one time I read this book and in this book this thing happened. Or I was taking my daughter to school and this thing happened, right? Those things might not have anything to do about what I'm going to say later, but it's a great way to start and get people hooked in. So number 1 is tell a story. Number 2 is pose a problem. You have to be able to create tension now in your story, okay? So you tell a story to hook somebody, but then you have to pose the problem. What is the problem that you are going to eventually solve later in your deck? So tell a story, pose a problem, state the solution. So now that you've told people that there's a problem, okay, you have to then present the solution because you're about to show them how to solve it, which is number 4. Which is to actually show examples. So now that you've shown the solution, you have to back it up with facts, with proof. This doesn't always have to be data, but it might need to be 1 or 2 other real-life examples. Social proof works really well here if you can show other customers who have done the thing that you're doing, other people who have done the thing you're doing, whether you're talking about weight loss or new ways to create a sales campaign. To be able to show proof is what's going to back up this solution, right? People don't just want the solution, they want to know how to do it. And then number 5 is call to action. What is the call to action at the end of this, right? All great marketing, there's some call to action at the end. It doesn't always have to be an ask, but it could be share this. It could be meet me over here after. It could be email me right now. It could be go to this web page. So every time I create anything, I follow these 5 rules. Tell a story, pose a problem, state the solution, show some proof, and call to action. And what's really cool about this is you can apply this to all parts of your business. I've had conversations here at Drift with Maggie and Alexa, who are 2 of our product managers, and they've basically taken this format and applied it to when they're talking about a new product for the team, right? They got to get the company hyped up about a new product that we're building or something that we're launching, and so they're going to take them through these 5 things. And like I said earlier, this has been helpful for anything. Even if you're just writing a blog post, you can follow this same exact structure to tell a better story. And if you go back and watch any Steve Jobs keynote, you're going to find these ingredients And it can be that simple. I think most people get lost in storytelling because they don't know where to start, and they just start with the solution. They just start with the problem. But I've found that having these 5 steps has been super helpful. And I also think there's a million ways you could tell a story, but having some framework that you can stick to makes all the difference. So those are storytelling secrets from Steve Jobs. If they're good enough for Steve Jobs, they're good enough for me. And I'm making this video now because I've seen the result of using this framework firsthand. It's been super helpful. So I wanted to give away that little secret to you on this video. But I have one more thing, a little bonus. If you go and watch any of those Steve Jobs presentations, you'll notice one thing in common that he does every single time. He did it in the iPhone keynote, the iPad keynote, and he's done it almost every presentation that he's given, and that is the rule of threes, okay? The rule of threes meaning people, like humans, we are all genetically wired to remember lists of 3, right? Think about it. What do you do if you have an emergency? You call 911, right? What do you do if you're, Gons, what do you do if you're on fire? You stop, drop, and roll, okay? For whatever reason, we have a very good capacity as people to remember things of 3s, and so I always try to use the list of 3s in my presentations. It's too hard. You could give 5 examples, 20 examples. I always try to focus on here are 3 things I want you to remember. And there's a great example in that iPhone keynote where Steve Jobs is talking about building up, he's building up to the iPhone launch, and this is before they released it to the world. He said something like, I don't know if I'll quote it exactly, but he said something like, it's a phone, it's a music player, and it's an internet connected device.
iPod with touch controls, a revolutionary mobile phone, and a breakthrough internet communications device.
A phone, a music player, internet connected device, and then he said, and that's all in one thing, and that's the iPhone. So remember the rule of 3s for anything that you're doing. Always try to think of 3 takeaways. You could have 5, you could have 20, but 3 is a simple way to make sure people are going to remember the things that you're sharing with them. So those are some storytelling and copywriting secrets from Steve Jobs. I hope this is helpful. We'll see you soon.